Hi, my name's Susanti and I run a charity and a business for stopping domestic violence, and I'm also a healer. So today I've got why using love. So I stand in the power of my soul and I see and act as the Creator does. I am the Creator. Rescue and harmonious developments for the world and all beings. I seal and protect this space with my life shield, which I'm going to activate now. And I'm protected from evil eyes, evil intent, low vibrational beings and energy. I'll also use the numbers 8888 for divine protection that I place around me. I will connect on a soul level first to ask permission from your soul to send the information to you. And if you do not wish to receive the information and the healing, simply say no and you'll not receive the information. So today I'm using the information from my Genome Healing course, my Lightworkers Reiki course, the Ancient Secret of Flower of Life book, Volume 2, the Map of Consciousness Explained book, the Kindness Pack book, Messages from the 12 Archangel book, Divine Masters Ancient Wisdom book, Change Almost Anything in 21 Days book, and my own downloads from Source in this healing. And all information cannot be copied or used without my permission, as it belongs to myself and the course providers, and everything is copyrighted. Okay. So, Divine Source. I'll just do that. Divine Source, Higher Self, Ascended Masters, Archangels, Angels of the Light, and all ancestors. I call upon my angelic team and ancestors to protect and surround me now. I'm protected from all negative energy. I stand strong in the light of the Creator. I'm courageous and strong, and I stand in the truth. I draw my spiritual sword. I am a spiritual warrior. I have an orb of light around me and a flaming sword which I use for spiritual battle. I come from the light to dispel all darkness that is seen and felt on the earth plane. I know I am protected now and forever, and I send peace wherever I go. Namse, it is done, it is done, it is done, and so it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is something called Love is Creation, which I thought was really lovely. Okay, and it's from the Flower of Life book. Okay, so Love is Creation. Love is the source of all creation. It is the consciousness that actually forms the created universes, the dimensions and the worlds that we live within. As we look into the other worlds with our dualistic mind, we always see everything in threes, as we have said this before. We see time as the past, the present and the future. We see space as X, Y, Z. And we see the size in the microcosm, the everyday world and the macrocosm. We call this the Trinity of Reality. Everything in this Trinity of Reality, from atomic particles to the grand galaxies, is held together by forces that we have given different names, seeing these forces as separate and unrelated. The atoms are held together by atomic forces that seemingly are different from the forces of gravity that hold planets to suns and suns to other suns. But they are really different. Perhaps the only real difference is the dimensional level they manifest in. Love is a particle vibration of consciousness that, when it is between humans, holds people to people in all our relationships. Without love, marriage is just a shell and will usually break apart. Sometimes marriage will stay together only to save the children. But is it not still love that holds the marriage together? It's the love of the children. We may have other reasons to continue a relationship without love, but it is never the same as true love. Love is the bond that is stronger than any other. People will die for love. And I believe that everything in the universe is a mirror of consciousness. From what I have seen, all energy is consciousness, no matter what the name of it is. Whether it is called electricity, magnetism, magnetic fields, heat, atomic forces, gravity, and so on. And from this belief, we can see that according to E equals mc2 squared, energy is related to matter and to the speed of light, squared by a number. Therefore, matter is also consciousness. It's only crystallized. From this view of the world, everything is consciousness, and consciousness as the light that reflects off the matter of the outer world and creates the entire outer world breath by breath. The inner world of consciousness, the dreams, visions, feelings, emotions, sexual energy, kundalini, and even our expectations of the outer reality are all the source of matter, and how this matter is arranged, E equals mc squared, and love of the binding agent within the equation. Love is the exact vibration that matter responds to. We have great power to create. We have forgotten this, but now is the time for us to remember. This is why the living Merkaba needs love to become active. Without love, the Merkaba is lifeless and will soon die. The female aspect must be present in love to balance the male, or life will not be. It is love that can change water into wine. It is love that can bring a person back from the dead. It is love that can heal yourself and others. It is love, and love alone, that will heal this world. So speak of healing without speaking of love is not speaking of truth. In medicine, only certain things are possible, but with love, all things are possible. With love, the incurable disease is nothing but light, and the atoms of the body can be reformed into perfect health. The absence of love is the source of all disease, for it is love that binds matter into order out of chaos, and without love, chaos will always ensure. So I thought that was really quite profound. Okay, so now we've got the map. I'm going to talk about on the map of consciousness, which is this here, and it starts. Okay, that is. Okay. So this is the map of consciousness. Okay. So on the map of consciousness, there are two critical conundrums that allow for major advancement. One is when we reach at 200 courage, which is the first level of empowerment. Here, we are willing to stop blaming others and accept responsibility for one's own actions, feelings, and beliefs. When the cause and responsibility are projected outside of oneself, one must remain in the powerless mode of victim. Clearly, the only way to increase our happiness, prosperity, and spiritual energy is by shifting to a higher level of consciousness. The endless quest for happiness out there, buying possessions, approval, awards, degrees, and so on, never bring lasting happiness. Happiness is the automatic byproduct of progression in consciousness. Okay. The second is at the 500 level, which is love. This is reached by accepting love and non-judgmental forgiveness as a lifestyle, exercising unconditional kindness to all persons, things, and events without exception. And we're all born with free will to choose our response, to let all resentment go. When you make this commitment to yourself, you begin to experience a different, more benign world as your perceptions evolve. Research has shown that the level of consciousness is the determining factor in many societies' variables and the individual behaviour. And the differences between 200 and above 200 on the conscious scale. Of major significance is that the brain psychology changes dramatically at the conscious level 200, which is courage, which is the level where the quality of life changes, not only in humankind but also in the animal kingdom. And it changes from predatory to benign. This is expressed by the emergence of concern for the welfare and the survival and happiness of others rather than just for the person of self. The benefits of this evolution, the caringness and the spiritual growth are clearly shown in the chart. Above the level of consciousness at 200, an etheric brain emerges. The etheric brain not only allows more effective processing of stimuli, but also registered higher energy frequencies to which plasm is unable to respond. This is similar to the physical world, where more delicate instruments are required to discern higher frequency energy fields beyond the capacity of the senses. And they've got the ear, cannot hear radio waves themselves. The etheric energy brain is capable of non-verbal, non-linear knowingness, and right-handed people become right brain dominant and left-handed people become left brain dominant. These non-dominant brain hemispheres are stimulated by art, music, attrition, and physics. Okay, so the impact of love. Love has only recently emerged on the planet with its first appearance in birds and mammals. Through material love, it is helpful to know that to care about others, much less about the environment or the quality of life on the planet, is extremely recent in the evolution of consciousness over millennia. This fact elicits appreciation for the presence of love in our current era, and this very appreciation has the effect of increasing it. Indeed, anything done with love increases its calibration, and this is seen in the everyday arena of food we eat. Machine-made food calibrates at 180, 200, but homemade food rises to 209. And if it is sent love, it rises to 215. Machine-made bread at the supermarket calibrates at 188, but if bread comes from the bakery in the same supermarket, it rises to 203. And then higher if it's sent love. Cookies made for the family calibrate at 520. These calibration differences are uniquely demonstration and analogues to the Hindenburg's principle that in the introduction of the human consciousness and intention alter the field. It follows that if we bring more love into our lives simply by consciously focusing on its presence as a motivator in everyday life. This is seen in love involved in making the family dinner, in cleaning the house. Ordinary endeavours done out of love carry great power. Consciousness, calibration, confirms the truth of do great things with love. And it bears repeating that only 15% of the world's population is above the critical level of 200 courage. However, the collective power of that 15% has the weight to counterbalance the negativity of the remaining 85%. So power advances logarithmically. A single avatar at a conscious level of 1,000, that's enlightenment, that's above love, so it's 1,000, can and does in fact totally counterbalance the collective negativity of all humankind. Kinology test has shown the following. So I'll just see where. So that's God at the top. You've got God at the top. You've got That's different vibrations in their amounts. This is the higher one. It's not the lower. There's alignment there. It says it's actually 800 there, but that's a higher. And the archangels are on there too. Christ, Buddha, avatars, God. Yeah. So that's of the higher consciousness. So one individual at level 700 counterbalances 7 million individuals below the level of 200. One individual at level 600 counterbalances 10 million individuals below the level of 200. One individual at level 500 counterbalances 750,000 individuals below the level 200. One individual at level 400 counterbalances 400,000 individuals below the level of 200. And one individual at level 300 counterbalances 90,000 individuals below the level of 200. 12 individuals at level 700 equals one avatar at 1,000. So, were it not for these counterbalances, humankind would self-destruct out of sheer mass of its unopposed negativity. However, the difference in power between a loving thought and a fearful thought, so fear's right at the bottom and love's, it's not right at the very top, but it's 500, so it's high. And that's why they say to always think loving thoughts and to not be in fear, because fear is at the bottom and that's really low consciousness. So however, the difference in power between a loving thought and a fearful thought is so enormous as to be beyond the capacity of the human imagination to even comprehend. We can see from the analysis above that even a few loving thoughts during the course of our day more than counterbalance all our negative thoughts by the sheer power. So that's why we need to stay in love and give out positive thoughts and information. And the only way to enhance one's power in the world is by increasing one's integrity, our understanding and our capacity for compassion and love. If the diverse populations of humankind can be brought to this realization, the survival of the human society and the happiness of its members will be more secure. Simply knowing that an increase in one's level of consciousness reduces negativity in the world motivates the intention to evolve, to upscale. So the energy level of 500, which is love. Love is depicted in the mass media is not what the level implies. On the contrary, what the word generally refers to as love is an intense emotionality combining physical attraction, possessiveness, control, addiction, eroticism, and novelty. It is usually effervescent, infatuating, waning and waning, with varying conditions. When frustrated, this emotion often reveals an underlying anger and dependency that it has masked. That love can turn to hate is a common concept, but what is being spoken about rather than love is an addictive sentimental mentality and attachment. Hate stems from pride, not love. There probably never was actually love in such a relationship. The level 500 love is characterized by the development of love that is unconditional, unchanging, and permanent. It does not fluctuate because its source within the person who loves is not dependent on external conditions. Loving is a state of being. It is a way of relating to the world that is forgiving, nurturing, and supportive. Love is not intellectual and does not proceed from the mind. Love emanates from the heart. It has the capacity to lift others to accomplish great feats because of its purity of motive. At this level of development, the capacity to discern essence becomes predominant. the core of an issue becomes the centre of focus. As reason is bypassed, there arises the capacity for instantaneous recognition of the totality of a problem, a major expansion of context, especially regarding the time and process. Reason deals only with particulars, whereas love deals with wholes. This ability, often ascribed to intuition, is the capacity for instantaneous understanding without restoring to sequential symbol processing. This phenomenon may sound abstract, but is, in fact, quite concrete. It is accomplished by a measurable release of endorphins in the brain. Love takes no position and fuss is global, rising above the separation of positionality. It is then possible to be one with another, as there are no longer any barriers. Love is therefore inclusive and expands the self of self progressively. Love focuses on the goodness of life in all its expressions and augments that which is positive. It dissolves negativity by contextualizing it rather than attacking it. This is the level of true happiness, but although the world is fascinated by the subject of love that collaborate at 500 or above, it is interesting to note that only 4%, that's really low, 4% of the world's population ever reaches this level of evolution of consciousness. Only 0.4% ever reaches the level of unconditional love, which is at 540. Okay, so the planets are full of people, the planet Earth is full of people trying to change the world, but doing so at the level of symptoms, not its source. This kind of force creates counterforce, and we end up with gridlock rather than greatness. Greatness comes from within. It is courageous to change oneself, and we are the change. The only real change is done through healing our inner wounds. When this is done, we show up in the world in a different way in love. We embody love to all. Being grateful for what we already have in our life will raise your vibration too. And clearing old beliefs, thoughts, intentions, and emotions that are keeping you stuck in old stories, that's really important. Being in nature, grounding to Mother Earth, being aligned to your soul purpose, and speaking your truth will help. Working on clearing your chakras so they're open and balanced. And being in your heart space and showing love to others are all things that will raise your consciousness. So I'm just going to read the peace energy level, that's at 600. This energy field is associated with the experience of designating by such terms as transcendence and self-realization and the God consciousness. It is extremely rare. When this state is reached, the distinction between subject and object disappears, and there is no specific focal point of perception. Not uncommonly, individuals at this level remove themselves from the world as a state of bliss that ensures preludes ordinary activity. Some are spiritual teachers, others work anonymously for the betterment of humankind. Some are great geniuses in their respective fields and make great contributions to society. Others are saints and are purely spiritual. The perception at the level of 600 peace and above is sometimes reported as occurring in slow motion, suspended in time and space though nothing is stationary and all is alive and radiant. Although this world is the same world as the one seen by others, it has become continually flowing, evolving in an exquisite, coordinated, evolutionary dance in which significance and source are overwhelming. This awesome revelation takes place non-rationally, so that there is an infinite silence in the mind, which has stopped conceptualizing. That which is witnessed and that which is witnessed takes on the same identity. The observer dissolves into the landscape and becomes equally the observed. Everything is connected to everything else by a presence whose power is infinite, exquisitely gentle, yet rock solid. Great works of art, music, architecture that calibrate between 600 and 700 can transport us temporarily to higher levels of consciousness and are universally recognized as inspirational and timeless. Okay, so now I'm just going to read about being, doing, and having. Looking at the map of consciousness will reveal the three phases of evolution, from havingness to doingness to beingness. At the lower levels of consciousness, it is what people have that counts. It is what they have that is valued. It is what they have that gives them their self-image of worth and position in the world. They wear that certain brand of clothing. They drive that certain style of car that proves their importance to the social group. Even close associates are mainly status symbols to them, so they want that lover on the arm who will make them look good to others. They want to be seen with the cool crowd. They will kill and steal in order to have a certain brand of sneakers, or to control a territory, or to get whatever it is that they value as a possession. And to them, having is equalled with survival, its competitiveness, possessiveness, and rivalry. At around the calibration of 190 on the scale, conscious scale, that's competition, there is an addition of group showing loyalty, such as the pack, my community, my group, my turf. So once people have proved to themselves that they can have whatever they want, that their basic needs can be fulfilled, that they then have the power to provide their own needs and those of others who are dependent upon them, the mind begins to become more interested in what they do. So then you've got doingness. Then they move to a different social setting in which what they do in the world is the basis of their valuing and rating. And what is one's position and function? This is what they focus on. What degree follows after their name? How many boards do they serve on? So it's all doing actions. They link achievement with survival via the security that comes from the wider approval and esteem. They see group cooperation as helpful to achieve shared goals, such as survival of their interests via community activities. As people move up in lovingness, their doingness is less preoccupied with self-promotion and becomes more orientated to being of service to others. As consciousness grows, they experience that service, which is loving orientated towards others, automatically results in the fulfillment of their own needs. This is not sacrifice, it is sharing from one's inner completeness and joy. Their actions are automatically loving and nurturing of the life around them. At that point, it is no longer what they do in the world, but what they are that counts. They have proven to themselves that they can have what they need, that they can do almost anything, given the willingness. So now it is what they are within themselves and to others that becomes the most important. People seek their company not because of what they have, not because of what they do and society's labels, but because of what they have become. Because of the quality of their presence and their love, people just want to be around them. Their social description then changes. They are no longer the person who has a fashionable apartment or a fancy car, nor are they labelled as the president of the so-and-so corporation or some other title. Now they are described as a splendid person, as somebody you just have to meet. This level of beingness is typical of anonymous self-help groups where no one is interested in what others do in the world, what they have, or even their last names. They are only interested in whether or not they have achieved certain inner goals, such as those of honesty, openness, lovingness, willingness to help, humility, and awareness. They are interested in the quality of the beingness. We see, therefore, that consciousness evolves from survival to love. That is, from a self-centered focus on one's own survival to a wider radius of concern that encompasses the happiness and support of others as important for one's survival, to finally transcending the belief that one's survival is due to any cause. At this point, one belongs to life itself, freely loving and giving to others without needing anything in return. And healing only takes place. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Within themselves. Evolves from love. Anything in return. Okay. So healing. So now healing only takes place when love is present. So I'm going to read that out. Okay. So, okay. Healing takes place only when love is present. And this was from the Flower of Life book too, which I thought was really interesting. In the late 80s, we did research to see if all healers might have something in common. We looked at many healers, most of whom use different forms and techniques. Just about every technique of healing known was present. Hands-on healers, psychic surgeons, Reiki masters, prana healing, medicine men and women, shamans, practitioners of witchcraft, psychic healers, and so on, were all present. We studied the energies coming off their bodies and found that they all had an almost identical sin wave signature, the same pattern of 3 high waves and 1 low wave that continuously repeated, and that the source of this pattern was located in the universal heart chakra. This was really interesting from a geometric point of view because the length of the breathing tube above and below the heart chakra was exactly 1 part male to 3 parts female. This was one aspect that was the same in each of these healers, at least while they were healing. They were centered in the Christ chakra, just above the sternum, at the moment they were healing. The primary chakra of the universal, unconditional love. From this research and other experiences I have had, I now believe that whatever healing technique a person uses is of little importance. The technique simply gives the healer a structure for the mind of that person to focus on. But the real healing comes from love that the healer is giving to the person being healed. The healer's love for that person heals, not the knowledge. So speaking of healing without speaking of love will always evade the truth. Healing people, healing villages, healing the entire planet is all the same. The only difference is simply the greater degree of love. The mind has the knowledge to manipulate matter, but love has the power to not only manipulate matter, but to effortlessly create matter from nothing. No matter what the problem is that needs to be healed, love can heal all of it. Okay. So now we're going to do some Reiki, and this is Kuchu-rei symbol. And these are power symbols, and they mean to put energy here. The clockwise Chuku-rei symbol means connect to the heavens. The counterclockwise symbol, Chuku-rei, means connect to the earth. And when we're using the symbols, we're asking for divine energy to flow to the symbol onto whatever we send the energy to. So I'm going to send this onto Mother Earth for all beings, animals and plants, and we're going to amplify the energy of these symbols. And I've given the intention of love to be sent to these symbols to go onto the earth plane and all around it. And Reiki energy is always working for the highest good of all concerned, and all beings are free to accept or to reject the energy as we work with the law of free will here. So I'll show the symbols and I'll activate these. Okay, across Mother. So we activate these across Mother Earth. Now I'm going to read Changing the World. So this is from the Archangel book, Message 48, Changing the World. Since the beginning, we have walked with you on your journey as we guide and support you in surrendering to your true self. We ask you to be here now, to evolve into a better life. You must let go of your past. When you hold on to the regrets of the past, you carry them into your future. We desire for you to live a life without regret and without suffering. Today, the 12 archangels of the central soul give you the message that your world is changing and a most magnificent magic is happening. Humanity is waking up to accepting that change must happen from the inside out. No longer giving the ego lasting satisfaction to blame others for one's own choices and experiences. Loving yourself and loving others unconditionally creates the best results. The results that last and bring transformation, where transformation has never been before. We walk with you out of your past into a new now. Now is a moment to accept responsibility for your own life and to reach out and help all fellow men and women. We say to reach out and to help them to help themselves. Love yourself and care for your entire vessel. Make the choice every day to create peace and balance between your ego's will and your heart's truth. As you will make this choice because you are one with every other human being, you can circumvent war in the future, giving thanks for the rich and abundant gifts God has blessed you with on this journey. Because you are one with every other human being, doing this helps bring an end to poverty and greed on earth. Feeling your feelings and let go of the hurts and resentments of the past because you are one with every other human being. And doing this helps doctors and healers to create cures for cancer and other diseases. Taking we already know how to heal a lot of this anyway. Take responsibility for your choices, your thoughts, your feelings, your vibration, and transform what is low and negative. Because you are one with every other human being. Doing this helps to change the effects of global pollution and bring balance back to Mother Earth. Okay. So open your life to transformation and watch the world change for the better. We are happy to share the good news. Humanity, as reflective, is waking up to truth and choosing to believe and love. Believe that you can make a significant difference by changing your belief programs. Embrace transformation and allow God to be the change. It takes only intention, focus, a little bit of self-discipline of the ego to be in the present, here and now. We thank you for waking up, and we thank you for helping your world to be a safer and healthier home for all concerned. So this is the new world. So close your eyes, breathe in Divine Mother's ruby pink light of love. See yourself standing outside a beautiful purple door. It's heaven's doorway. Knock at the door until your divine self, the child of God that lives within you, opens the door. Together, walk down a long flight of stairs into a dark basement. Look for your wounded child or yourself and ask, what do I need to let go of? Let it go. Let the light of God, love, fill the basement until it disappears in the light. Fill up your vessel with divine love in all of God's rainbow of loving colours: violet, ruby, sapphire, blue, emerald green, turquoise, gold, coral, and white. Grow tall and wide until you can hold the world in your hands. Hold the world in your own loving hands and feel one with the world in your heart. Give thanks for the new world emerging from the old world. Ask God to bless the new world with all she needs and all her children need to live in peace and abundance. And give thanks for all the miracles that are happening now for your new world. Okay. So now I'm gonna read out Working with Lady Venus. So on a multi-dimensional level, Venus is a planet that represents your personal connection with the divine. When you invoke the energy of Venus and the Venus beings, you are able to be guided towards your own experience of divine life. Upon planet Earth, many of you human beings understand divine connection and the experience of divine through literature and study. The energy of Venus encourages you to harness your personal connection and your understanding of the divine with your own heart and at the higher heart level. Okay, so how do you know if you're receiving a download or an upgrade or a light code? Hearing random whistles, high-pitched tones, overtones, or otherworldly sounds, which are all frequency downloads coming in from the heaven. Speaking in languages, that's light language, you don't know or understand. Hearing a guide speak to you in another language, and most likely light language, which is a multi-dimensional high-frequency language that helps to activate your energy body. Seeing the numbers 11.11, a clear sign that you are receiving support from Source. Feeling as though a message is coming through, even if you can't get a clear idea of what it is. Randomly drawing symbols in the air during energy work or while you're journaling, which is the human self-processing high vibrational spiritual downloads. So we say, thank you, Lady Venus, for helping me rise above and beyond the limiting ideas, stories, or false narratives that have been placed in my heart and my energy by others. I am now ready to break the bonds and the chains that prevent me from rising high. Thank you, Lady Venus, for guiding me out of my mind and back into my heart space so that I can have my own personal connection and experience of Source. Thank you, Source Energy, for allowing me to experience you directly. I am ready to claim my worth. And Lady Venus's activation involves connecting to divine wisdom through our higher chakras and increasing the bandwidth to increase an infrared broadband style connection. So now we're going to do that. So increasing bandwidth activation. So center yourself with deep breathing. Now, imagine your entire being radiating with a static light. Begin to chant internally or out loud if you're comfortable to do that. And Lady Venus, Lady Venus, Lady Venus, thank you for wrapping my energy in your high frequency light. I welcome your energetic upgrades into my field. Thank you for helping me make my own personal connection with Source. I'm willing to have my own experience of divine love. I accept that I'm a spark of the divine mind, and I align with this infinity intelligence now. Thank you for creating a visual embodied connection between my mind and the mind of Source. Through my crown chakra, my soul star, my stellar gateway, I align, I attune, I connect to ancient wisdom, starry wisdom, and the presence of light. Thank you for harnessing a powerful, inspired, enhanced connection with the divine. I welcome your blessing. I am willing to be led by your love. Thank you for helping me tap into my starry origins. I welcome in the presence and leadership of the Venusans. I am held by divine love. I am replenished with divine love. I am activated by divine love. Thank you, Queen of Venus, Lady of Light, for blessing me with your presence. I am aligned, and so it is. Okay, now Divine Masters, Keepers of the Ancient Wisdom, thank you for shining your infinite light upon my being and for helping me address the teacher I have within. I am ready to unlock my gifts. I am willing to experience you. I open myself up to you, and so it is. Now we're going to do the Rose Pink Ray. The energetic keywords are divine love and compassion. The archangels are Gabriel and Hope. The divine masters are Paul the Vatican and Lady Nada. Now the rose pink ray of the heart is the energy of divine love and compassion directed from the heart of Source. When we invoke or experience rose pink energies, we expect our heart space to transform, opening up to create more space to give and receive love in all shapes and forms. So the innovation, I am one with the rose pink ray. I'm aligned with divine love. I align being with infinite compassion and self-care. And I'm just going to read Harmony. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. And that's from Marcus Aurelius. So, positive affirmations to say. I feel connected to peace and harmony of the universe in all ways now. My home is in complete harmony today. My life is flowing in harmony today. My higher power is showing me how to remove all my blocks to peace and harmony today. You deserve to feel good about who you are and the life that you live. I am in full love with myself, and it is the best relationship I have ever had. Okay, so Gravois, healing numbers to use. Self-love, 157914, 157914, 157914, self-love. We put that around the earth. Harmony with friends and family, 8144 18919, 8144 18919, 8144 18919. That's harmony with friends and family. So now we're going to cut the energetic cords that we've shared in the healing with all beings, and I'll use my hands to cut the cords, the energetic cords. I send the energy back to you and my energy back to me with love and compassion. I also, cut the ancestral lineage attached in all timelines. And I see everyone having all roots grounded into Mother Earth with our feet chakras open. And I now bring the earth energy up through all roots, filling our entire bodies to 1 meter above our heads. We are now all balanced in spirit, matter, heaven and earth, and I send everyone love from the Creator and myself. And I see everyone standing in the light of the Creator, and all energies within and around all beings are transformed by the light stream that is shining down on Mother Earth and all beings now. And thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. And so it is. And that's the end of that healing. And if you like that healing, you can push the like button and you can subscribe to our page. Thank you.